So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick. And plus, I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Burumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Country's first case of Chikungunya virus recorded. Verification process underway in free medicine program. And Lands Ministry steps up monitoring to rectify record keeping. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Fiji has recorded its first case of chikungunya, a mosquito-borne viral disease that the Health Ministry is doing all it can to prevent from spreading. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
The Ministry of Health had sent 11 samples of suspected cases of chikungunya overseas for testing in early March. One sample returned positive. The virus arrived with a visitor who went to get a checkup after feeling ill. Health checks at our borders cannot pick out if someone is carrying the virus.
There's an element called an incubation period, where people who have just been infected are brewing or culturing the disease in their body. So what happens during that period, they may not be showing any symptoms. So they're able to come through the borders without reporting any symptom.
The visitor has since been treated and returned home. With this case emerging, the ministry is concerned it might trigger an outbreak.
Also, the population in Fiji are, as we had hypothesized or acknowledged, that they are largely immunologically naive. We haven't met this disease before. So even its introduction and its establishment would basically cause an explosive outbreak. This is what we anticipate would happen.
According to Dr. Mike Kama, chikungunya and dengue fever are both caused by the same type of mosquito. Therefore, the prevention measures are not new.
So it's about destroying mosquito breeding grounds and protecting oneself from mosquito bites. So that has been ongoing from last year. So I think it's been one of the biggest preventive measures that we have been undertaking for chikungunya. Perhaps that's why it hasn't really arrived here.
The virus is transmitted from human to human by the bites of infected female mosquitoes. Symptoms include an abrupt onset of fever accompanied by joint pain, muscle pain, headache, nausea, fatigue and rashes. There is no specific antiviral drug treatment for the virus. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health is working with the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority to verify applicants who qualify for the free medicine program. The program has now been rolled out after a delay from the original start date of January 1st this year. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
There are several issues that need to be addressed, from the availability and distribution of drugs to pharmacies to the overall administration of the program. Permanent Secretary for Health, Medusela Tuivakau, says the Ministry and the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority are currently trying to ensure the right recipients are taking up the program.
The issue with the free medicine is the verification of the salary. We've gone to FERCA to supply us all the names of people who earn less than 20,000, and we have to verify that with the patients coming in for the prescriptions.
Tuivakau says the program is nonetheless up and running, with forms at all hospitals and health clinics, as well as pharmacies, both private and public. He adds 72 drugs have made the free medicine list, but not all are available yet.
I think the 52 are the ones that are already in our list. We already have that in the pharmacy, in the our Fiji Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Services. The other 20 are the ones that we don't usually, it's not in our list, and therefore we had to acquire and to procure, and we had to go for tender. After the tender processes, then we get the suppliers to supply us, but they should be arriving before the end of the month.
Another matter that the ministry is dealing with relates to the installation of an IT system. This is to track whether the rightful recipients are using the program and also just how much free drugs are being handed out. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Lack of monitoring within the Lands Ministry has led to a lot of anomalies in its record keeping. This was the explanation given by the Ministry to the Public Accounts Committee when questioned about the discrepancies highlighted in the reports from 2007 to 2009. Ritika Pratap has more.
The Lands Ministry's current monitoring unit only looks at its annual corporate plan deliverables. Deputy Secretary Malakai Nalawa says the non-existence of monitoring resulted in anomalies in its record keeping.
It's not really monitoring all other aspects of our responsibilities, like conditions of the lease. We would like that to be monitored, checked on the ground, whether they are developing, whether they are building within the specified period, if they are given residential leases, for instance. So monitoring is one area that we would like that to be strengthened.
Nalawa says another issue within the ministry is that their data is not compatible with what's on the ground.
Now rent arrears, doing rent reassessments. When the list is taken out of our database, given to our valuation section, who monitors that to ensure that the rents have been actually reassessed and then inputting the new rent into the system.
The ministry's plan to establish a monitoring team has been supported by the Public Accounts Committee, and Nalawa is hopeful this will alleviate the reports on anomalies that the Auditor General's reports have highlighted. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Public Accounts Committee is pleased and with the way the different ministries have been responding to questions regarding the clarification of issues highlighted in the Auditor General's reports. Officials from the Ministries of Land, Public Enterprises and Infrastructure appeared before the committee today. Ellen Stolz has more.
We're specifically looking at...
Committee Chairman Professor Biman Prasad says the ministries are well prepared for the meeting with the committee.
But I'm pleased that the ministries and the permanent secretaries in charge of those ministries have looked at those reports. They have addressed some of them, others they are continuing to do so.
The Ministry of Industry, Tourism, Trade and Public Enterprise also expressed its plan to continue to make improvements to the industry going forward.
We have a trade policy framework also, which will soon be launched by the Honourable Prime Minister, and that way we have clearly articulated as to how we can consolidate in terms of investment and trade and ensure that Fiji continues on this phenomenal growth path that is being achieved at the rate of average of 4 to 5% growth on an yearly basis.
The Ministry of Infrastructure outlined a number of changes that it is making in terms of bringing about improvements to existing regulations. Permanent Secretary Commander Keane says he is pleased to note that a lot has been done to improve upon the major issues of good governance and transparency within his ministry.
We've done a lot of training over these last 3 years, particularly this year. And I'm very thankful to the support from the Office of the Auditor General that has been rendered to our ministry in assisting us in undertaking this training.
The committee is continuing to sift through the Auditor General's reports from 2007 to date. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Two political parties today presented their submissions to the Committee of Law, Justice and Human Rights on the proposed Companies Bill 2015. The SEDELPA Youth Wing, which represented the Social Democratic Liberal Party, highlighted the lack of awareness about the current bill and the submission process. The Youth Wing suggested a subcommittee be set up to re-examine the bill and provide a simplified and more workable document. Committee Chairman Ashnil Sudhakar said the submission was the only one from a youth group and requested they provide a brief analysis of the state of youth in business in Fiji. Meanwhile, the National Federation Party also presented its submission, saying it welcomed the intent to modernize the company's bill. However, it found the bill confusing and ambiguous. NFP President Tupon Ranindalo says it would have been ideal to have the Parliamentary Council and those who drafted the bill present to clarify any issues in such technical legislations. Coming up after the break, new Bailey Bridge for Denarau as work on a permanent structure scheduled to begin in a few months.
Bula FM nambandua na serena iwan siningaw na dibatara ni sibiti kubekian na diwa en na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ora bengrabe na nontan nongo kanda na dapat ko anin rona kaloko en ay kabenden debo ni na tayo wali ni may dapat ko na wani matakabo kan lib sarti ko na bisere talio ni na namaka do ba tayo may kina na kinan daw ro di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salamilawa do ba tayo kiyawan na batara na wani dio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka en ang Bula FM nambandua en na serena
Two new members have been sworn in to the Fijian judiciary by President Ratuepeli Nailatikau. Judge Buanika Aluihe, who has more than 30 years of legal experience, joins the Justice of Appeal of the Supreme Court. Judge Aluihe comes with international legal experience through the work he did for the UN as a prosecutor in the East Timor war crimes. The member is puisne judge to the High Court, Judge Aruna Aluthi, who has 20 years of legal experience. Judge Aluthi was previously employed as attorney at law Supreme Court in Sri Lanka and has served as an international observer to monitor elections in Cambodia and Indonesia. Some participants at the 5th Fiji Women's Forum in Suva have lamented the lack of women in leadership roles of rural communities. The women are amongst 50 leaders who have been discussing the participation of women in national democratic processes. Shireen Lata reports.
Volauya Valanavanwa has come all the way from Taviuni to attend the forum. She says there are not enough women in leadership roles in her community.
We're supposed to be listening and hearing what the decisions of men are from where I come from.
Yavalana Vanwa hopes to bring about some changes when she returns home from the forum.
Being here, I've come to learn a lot of information and participate with other women and also learn more about the participation of women in the local governance.
Terikano Takesau of Rambi Island says it's important to change the mindset of people, especially the younger generation, in order to allow more women in decision-making processes.
I think I need to dig out and reach out to the younger women in my community because there are lots of them on the island. They are educated ones. Once they don't get job opportunities in the rural areas, they go back to the village. The only thing they have to do is just get married and produce children. So these are the younger ones we have to mobilize, and we need to train them.
To me, it's very inspiring to come to this forum. I've learned a lot, and I actually plan on roping in other young girls out there.
The forum is also aimed at working for the long-term development of women and gender equality. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Work on the Denarau Bridge project in Nandi, which is worth $7.5 million, has commenced but is 2 months behind schedule. The contractors have started bulk filling at the site of a temporary bridge, which is likely to be erected by the end of the month. Christopher Chand reports.
Rolling out the path for a Bailey Bridge that will be built right next to the existing Denarau Bridge is part of phase 2 of the project. Ian Hunter of the Fiji Roads Authority says the contractor is building the approaches for the temporary bridge.
He's going to be installing it at the end of this month. It's a two-way bridge, I think 7 metres wide between the panels, so it'll be set up. There'll be no need for traffic control. There'll be 2 lanes. And there'll be a separate walkway bridge for pedestrians.
These walks were scheduled for February but were on hold awaiting an environment impact assessment. The Denarau Bridge will be demolished in the next few months and the new one will be built at the same location.
It's completed depends a bit on the form of the bridge. The contractor's designed two sorts of bridges, one concrete bridge, one steel bridge. And in the next couple of weeks we're making a decision about which option to go for. If it's the steel bridge, it'll almost certainly be completed by Christmas. If it's the concrete bridge, it may take a little longer.
Denarau is a vital link for the tourism industry, but the state of this important infrastructure has been a concern for the last few years.
We're aiming for 100 years life. All our new structures in Fiji, we're aiming for 100-year life.
The new bridge is expected to be completed by early next year, and it will be a big boost for transportation as Denarau is projected to boom with proposed new facilities. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
If you have a passion and flair for clothing and design, FBC TV's Chetchimon show is bringing to you a one-of-a-kind fashion award. The Project Chetchimon Fashion Awards evolved from the successful TV show and are expected to benefit aspiring local clothes designers. Project Chetchimon will have a total of 8 categories: evening wear, streetwear, 3-piece collection, resort wear, Rubenesque, menswear, fantasy or recycle wear, and ethnic or traditionally inspired.
You see it on a daily basis. We all know this. We've got some amazing talent in the country. And if we are able to create an environment and opportunities for them to excel, then why not? And if we get more people in the industry, we'll get recognized more. And you know, we may be a dot on the map, but we can do great things, and we've proven that time and time and again.
Those chosen as Project Chetchimon Designer and Model of the Year will both win a return flight to New Zealand, and the Model of the Year will meet with one of the Wellington model agencies for possible representation in New Zealand. The Fashion Awards will be held at FBC in Suva on July 4th. And on that note, it's sports time with Jamie.
Well, that's something definitely to look forward to, the Chetchimon project. Will you be modelling on that evening, Jackie? I heard you were quite the model back in your day, yeah?
Well, but I've been seeing you, Andy, work with you.
I'll have to dust off my modelling shoes for that one, don't worry. Anyway, coming up in sports, Fijians still lead Hekari's bid at Champions League and teams learn fate for Fiji FAC tournament. This and more coming up.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabulaka. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Hekari United football side is in Fiji once again for the 2015 OFC Champions League. Fiji's Benaminio Matainangara and Pita Mbolai Tonga will lead the Papua New Guinea side in the regional meet. Rohit Deo caught up with the team at training today.
The Hekari football side is not a new name in Fijian soccer, as a lot of Fijians have played for them. The latest inclusion is former Nandi goalkeeper Benaminio Matainangara, who is a hopeful starter in their first match. The side is prepared well for the tournament and will be gunning for a win in their first outing.
We've prepared well for this tournament, and this year we prepared not like last year. We came with a number of injured players. I think the boys are all looking forward to our first game.
Bolai Tonga says they want to reach the semi-finals in the hope a second team from their country can compete in the next tournament.
Like any other team, the aim is to qualify for the semis. That's the our main aim, to at least make it to the semis and get another PNG team into the next O-League.
The tournament starts on Saturday, where host Suva will take on defending champions Auckland City at 4:30 p.m, while Amical FC plays Western United at 7 p.m. Hekari takes on Tafea on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. at the ANZ Stadium. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Vodafone Suva football side will be wrapping up its preparation tonight. The first-timers in the tournament will be up against all odds as they face reigning champions Auckland City as well as Amical and Western United. However, coach Gurjit Singh believes with the talent he has assembled, which includes overseas-based players, the Whites will be able to pull off some surprises. Suva plays Auckland City at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday at the ANZ Stadium in the capital. Defending champion Jax Nandi has drawn a tough pool for the Vodafone Fiji Fact. The draws in Suva today set the lineup for the first major football tournament of the year. Rohit Deo has more.
The first major tournament on the Fiji FA calendar kicks off in less than a month, and Nandi has a tough task on its hand. Nandi lead an all-Western Pool B, which also has Ba, Lotoka and Nandronga. Suva, being last year's runners-up, lead Pool A, which also has Lambasa, Arewa and Minosa Tailevune Tesiri.
Vodafone Fiji Fact played in the first week of May at the various centres depending on the pool draws today, and then the week later we will have the main tournament played at Prince Charles Park, Nandi. This is indeed the first major tournament of the year, and it creates a lot of excitement.
Sponsors Vodafone today handed over a sponsorship of $70,000 for the tournament.
Once again, we are proud to partner with Fiji Football to stage the most anticipated event of the year, which is the Vodafone Fiji Fact 2015. Like I said, we are gathered here to unveil the battle and to look forward to the teams that will play against each other. And this reflects our support to the sport, which we have mentioned many times.
The first round of matches will be played on May 2nd, while the tournament proper will be held from the 7th to the 10th of May at Prince Charles Park in Nandi. The fixtures for the event are expected to be released next week. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Naitasiri Rugby Football Union received a major boost today ahead of the season's kickoff next month. BLK Fiji has come on board as the new sponsors for the team for the next 3 years. The sponsorship deal includes cash, training gear and uniforms. BLK will also be the official suppliers of Naitasiri merchandise.
Without the sponsorship, it would be very difficult to run the Naitasiri Rugby Union, because as you may be aware of the financial status of trying to run a rugby union in Fiji.
Tadi Road Transport were the previous sponsors for the Naitasiri Rugby Union. Organisers of the Fiji International Golf Tournament are hoping to secure some of golf's biggest names for the competition. Organisers are using the Masters Tournament in Augusta in the United States this weekend to try and rope in top players. The Masters will see the best golfers from around the world competing, and the hope is to convince as many of these big names to feature in Fiji in October.
We've started talks with various other players. This year the date is going to be the week after the President's Cup, which is being held in Korea. So we believe we'll be able to get some of the international stars that come from Korea across to Fiji before they go back to the US, for example. So we're looking for players in the top 50 in the world, and discussions will I guess, accentuate in Augusta this week.
The Fiji International takes place at the Natandola course from October 15th to the 18th. That is your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation says the sugar industry will survive despite the massive challenge that lies ahead come 2017. Fiji will lose its preferential sugar price and its sugar quota to the European Union in 2 years' time, and there is a concern if they are not able to attract healthy sugar prices. Christopher Chand reports.
The cost of production has been increasing while the world market price for raw sugar has been declining. While critics say the industry faces a bleak future, FSC Executive Chairman Abdul Khan believes otherwise.
It is a large industry. I think from where I sit, failure is not an option.
And there is the EU quota, which comes to an end in September 2017.
We will survive come 2017, no doubt about that. What the market will look like may be a lot different to where it is at the moment.
Fiji won't be guaranteed its 220,000 tons of sugar exports into the EU.
That challenge is there. But other than that, the rest of the world still uses sugar. So what we need to do is aim to be able to meet the world market price and make a profit on that. If we can aim to get there through our production cost, etc., then it's not an issue.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has emphasized that the sugar industry is here to stay. FSC is creating new revenue streams like its cogeneration project to sustain itself in the future. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Generally fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Solomons and extends eastwards over to Tuvalu to northeast of Samoa and Cook Islands. Meanwhile, an east to southeast wind flow prevails over most of the southwest Pacific. Nandi, Lautoka, and Lambasa recorded 31 degrees while Sabu Sabu had the lowest at 29. Brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, elsewhere fine, apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers. Fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. And the main points again, the Health Ministry has reported its first case of Chikungunya mosquito-borne viral disease. Authorities are verifying salary details of applicants received for the government's free medicine program, and work has begun on setting up a Bailey Bridge at Denarau Island in Nandi as part of plans for the construction of a new multi-million-dollar bridge. This week we're asking, do you think Fiji can win this year's Rugby Sevens World Series? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. And that's our bulletin today. Join the team again at the same time tomorrow. Good evening.